Hello everyone, I'm Alicia and welcome to my Beautiful Nights channel. In my last video I showed you guys a haul that I bought from an online store called BB Craft. For this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make this necklace here using some of the beads that I got in that haul. So in this necklace here I used this pack of beads. All of these beads came in this box. And what I really like about it is there's 4 different sizes in here. So this is white halite, and this compartment has 4mm, this has 6, these 4 here have 8mm beads, and these are 10mm beads. And I have to say that sometimes when I get gemstone strands, the holes aren't very center in the gemstones, but I found these to be pretty good quality. The holes seem to be pretty centered in these beads. So anyways, I made this necklace using the white halite, and some of you might recognize this stitch. This beading stitch is called filled tubular netting, and normally when this stitch is done you do it with seed beads, for example 11 seed beads, and 4mm or 6mm round beads, but it's usually all the same size beads. You never do more than one size. Seed beads and like 4mm or 6, like I said. So I had the idea to do this graduated. So I used all 4 sizes in this box. Right here is my 4mm, this is the 6, this is the 8, this is the 10, and then I decreased it. 8, 6, 4, and then I increased 6, 8, 10, and decreased 8, 6, and 4. So I think you guys get the point. So I increased and decreased, and I made a graduated filled tubular netting, and it turned out pretty cool. I like it. Now these here are pretty long, so I had to do a necklace with this. It wouldn't have worked out as a bracelet, and I just wanted to pass bead stringing wire through this and put my beads on the ends that are in graduated sizes, because that's like the whole thing about this necklace is the graduated bead sizes. And it looked okay, but I noticed that right here it was not laying right. You could see the wire and it was just a sharp angle. It looked terrible, to be frank. So I had an idea to do like a beaded cup right here, so this bead would nestle in here and it would stop that from happening. And I did it. I figured out how to do it, and it turned out great. So I actually decided not to do bead stringing wire, and I just put wire through here. And I did get some wire from BB Craft. It was aluminum wire, but I found it to be too soft for this project. So I am using, for this necklace, 20 gauge wire, and I'm actually using stainless steel wire. This wire here is very strong. It does not tarnish. It's good if you have sensitive skin, but it's kind of hard to work with. It's not the softest wire, but it's kind of a good thing. It keeps this staying round, so I like that. Okay, so that's what my necklace looks like. And I didn't have a clasp on here. I didn't put one on. This here can actually slide over my head. I might put a clasp on later, but for now I kind of like it without a clasp. So it's pretty neat. So for this tutorial I'm going to show you guys how to make this necklace. I'm going to leave links for both of these boxes down there in the description bar. Here's the list of materials you will need to make this necklace. You will need to cut 9 feet of 10-pound fireline. Now, I'm using 10-pound fireline for this necklace because these are gemstones and the holes are drilled, so you do want a very strong thread for this. So I found 10-pound to be really good. Now, if you're doing this necklace with glass beads, maybe check drugs, or you're using pearls, you could probably get away with an 8-pound fireline. It should be fine. But because I'm using the drilled gemstones, it's best to do a 10-pound fireline. You're also going to need a size 10 beading needle. You're going to need round beads. I'm using 14 4mm, 20 6mm, 20 8mm, and 11 10mm round beads. I'm also using 8 seed beads and 11 seed beads. I have them mixed together here. The bronze are 8s and the turquoise luster are 11s. And you're also going to need wire, and I'm probably going to end up using this 20 gauge antique brass color wire. It's the same color as my seed beads here. I would prefer to do 18 gauge for this, but I don't have it on hand, so I'm probably going to have to do this. And you're also going to need chain, which I don't have out. And you're going to need jump rings and a clasp, which I also don't have out. I have to go get those things out. But I'll wait till I get this worked up when I go to put it together to do that. So this is a list of materials, and I will have everything down there in the description bar for you guys. I put my size 10 beading needle onto my 9 feet of 10-pound fireline, and I'm going to start by picking up one 8/0 seed bead, a 4mm round, an 8/0, a 4mm round, an 8/0, and a 4mm round bead. Just like that. I'm going to slide this down, and I'm going to leave a 16-inch tail because what I have to do is I start here with the 4mm and the 8/0 seed beads, and I go this way and I stop at the 10mm beads, and then I go back to my 16-inch tail and I make this beaded cup here to nestle around that large bead there. So sliding these down, I'm going to take my tail and I'm going to put it on the back of my roller starting at the 12-inch mark. Okay, hold it in place, come down here, there's 12 inches, and then I'm going up 4, and right here is my 16-inch mark, so I'm going to stop here, hold the spot with my fingernail, and then I'm going to take my needle and pass through all of these beads, just like this. I'm making a circle. Okay, and slide this down. Just like that. So you have this. So if you want, you can come back and measure, make sure you have a 16-inch tail, because you do need enough thread to make that in there. You have to reinforce it a few times, and I do. I have my 16 inches. Okay, so now I'm going to tie a surgeon's knot. Actually, I don't think I'm going to tie a knot because I don't want that to get in my way. So no, I'm not going to tie a knot. I didn't tie a knot in the other one, that's right. When you only make one of something, it's kind of hard to remember all the steps you took. Okay, so I'm just going to take my needle and pass through the 8/0 seed bead. So now, both of my threads, my tail and my working tail, are coming out of that 8/0 seed bead. So pull this tight. Now what I'm going to do is pick up 3 11/0s, 1 8, and 3 11s. Just like that. Pass through the next 8. I'm coming out of here, skipping over the 4mm and going through that bead. So pull all the thread through, and you should have this. I'm going to do this 2 more times, going around here. Here's 3, here's my 8, and 3 more 11s. Okay, coming out of this one, I have to go into my next 8/0, just like that. Pull that through. Now I have this. Okay, I have to do it one more time. So again, 3 11s, 1 8, and 3 11s. Just like that. Coming out of this 8, I'm going to go in through this 8, but this time I'm going to step up and go through these 3 11s and through that 8. Now, it's kind of hard to pass through that 8 because of my angle that I'm at right now, so I'm going to go like this, pull my thread through just a little bit, and then pass through that 8, and then I'll pull all of my thread through. Okay, so my tail is on this side, so I'm going to pull this tight, and now I'm going to add my 6mm beads. So I'm going to pick up one 6mm coming out here. I'm going to skip over all of these beads and go through this bead right there. Pull this through. Now I have this. I'm going to do that 2 more times. So again, pick up another 6mm and go through the next 8/0 seed bead. Pull that through. You don't have to pull any of this tight until you get that 3rd one in. That's when you have to pull it tight. Okay, here's my 3rd bead. Coming out here, I'm going to go through the next 8/0. Pull that through. Okay, so now I have this. So I'm going to pull this tight now. So my tail is on this side, and my working tail's on the opposite side. That's how I need it to be. And I'm just pulling this tight. Okay, so now you can see those 3 4mm are touching. When you flip it, the 3 6mm are touching. So now we're increasing our seed bead counts. So we went from doing 3 11s and an 8 to doing, now we are doing 5 11s and an 8. So there's 3, 4, 5, here's my 8/0, and then 5 11s. This is what I'm doing now. I'm going to slide these down. Coming out of this 8/0, I'm skipping over this 6mm, and I'm going into the next 8/0 seed bead on this side with the 6mm beads. Okay, pull the tail through, and your beads should go around just like that of the 6mm. So again, I'm going to pick up 5 11/0s. And then my 8 and 5 11s. Just like that. Slide those down. Coming out here, I'm going to skip over this bead and go through the next 8. And now I have this. So I'm going to do this one more time, and then we're going to go to the 8mm beads. So again, pick up 5 11s, an 8/0 seed bead, and 5 11s. Just like that. Slide those down. I'm coming out here, I'm skipping over this bead, I'm going through the 8/0 seed bead and through these 11s. Okay, and like I said earlier, I like to pull out a little bit, and then I can get through this 8/0 just like that, and pull all of my thread through. Alright, now pull this row tight. Okay, and now we're going to step up in size. So we did the 6mm rounds, we did the seed beads, and now we are going to do the 8mm rounds. So coming out of here, I'm going to skip over all of these beads, and I'm going to this 8/0. So it's like we're going from triangle point to the next point, to the next point, and then back to where we started. So there's one. Again, I'm putting in the next one here. just like that. Okay, and then I have one more 8mm for this row here. I'm gonna go in through the 8/0, pull the thread through, and now we have this. So go ahead and pull this tight. As tight as you can. And now we have this. It's looking cool already, isn't it? So now we're going to be increasing the seed beads again. Not by much though. So this time I'm going to pick up 6 11s, there's my 6, then an 8/0, 6 11s, there's 4, 5, and 6. Double check, make sure you got the right amount. Slide these down. Coming out of this bead, I'm skipping over this 8 and I'm going into the next 8. Just like that. Pull the thread through. Now, you want to make sure that these are kind of flipping up this time, because it's going to be a little bit of a snugger fit. And then we're ready to do the next one. Again, you're going to do 8 seed beads, not 8, 6 11s and an 8. I have 8 on the brain. Oops. We're going to pick up 6 11s. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, an 8/0, and 6 11s. 4, 5, and 6. Okay, double check, make sure you have the right amount. Slide that down. Coming out of here, going around this 8mm bead, I'm passing through the 8/0. Pull the thread through. We now have this. Okay, I'm going to pull this tight. I need this to be very tight. It tends to loosen up on the 8mm beads. Okay, now I'm going to do it again. 6 11s, 3, there's 6, an 8/0, and 6 11s. Again, double check, make sure you have the right amount. Slide those down. Coming out of here, I'm going to go into this 8/0. I'm also going to pass through all of these 11/0s. We're stepping up now. Pull this through a little bit, pass through that 8/0 there, and then I'm going to pull all of my thread through. Alright. Pull everything tight. Fold the sides up. And now we are going to do the biggest bead, which is the 10mm. Okay, so here's a 10. Coming out of here, I'm going to go into the 8/0, the next one. Well, it's not the next one. This is the next one. We're going into this one. So we're going into the points of the triangle, basically, is what we're doing. Okay, so there's one. I'm going to do another one now. Coming out of here, skipping this 8 and all of these seed beads. I'm going to go into the next point of my triangle. Okay. This is what I have so far, and I need one more. I'll do this dark one. Okay. I'm right here. I'm gonna go into this 8. Just like that. Pull the needle through. And pull it tight. And this is what you should have. So I had a catastrophe and I had to stop the camera, but what I'm going to do now is I took my needle off of the thread over here, the working thread with the 10mm beads, and I put my needle onto the short 16-inch tail over here with the 4mm beads, because we're going to make the little seed bead cup for that 10mm bead to sit in. So I'm Xing out of the 8/0 seed bead, okay? I'm going to pick up 4 11s, an 8, and 4 11s. Just like that. Slide those down. Coming out of this bead, skipping over that one, I'm going to go through here. Just like that. Do it again. I'm going to do this twice. Three, 4, an 8, and then 4 11s again. Slide them down. Coming out of here, I'm going to go in through the next one. And then I'm going to do it again. 4 11s, an 8, and 4 11s OC beads. Okay, slide that down. Coming out of here, I'm going to pass through these 4 11-0s, stepping up. Okay, I have to pull this tight. I have to pull my other working tail tight because it's getting loose. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip over this 8/0 seed bead and pass through 2 of the 11s, just like this. Now there is a problem. Every time I do this, the 8/0 seed bead doesn't pop out because my thread always sits on top of it. See how it does that? It does it every time. I've done stuff like this before and it usually goes right around it, but for some reason it just refuses to on this, okay? So you want the thread to be sitting underneath of this 8/0. It's going to make this bead pop out. So you can see how it's popping out. This one's not popping out, so I'm going to have to do the same thing to those two. Okay, so now I have this the way I want it to look. So now what I'm going to do is pull this tight. I'm going to pick up 1 11 and 1 8 and 1 11. Just like that. Slide it down. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to bring these two sides here together. It's going to make this stand up more like a cup. So I'm skipping over these 2 11s, this 8, these 2 11s. I'm going to pass my needle through these two. Pull the thread through. Pull it tight. So you can see now it's starting to lift up. Alright. And it looks like I accidentally skipped that bead there, so I want to pass through those 2 11s there, and I accidentally skipped one. So go through there. I'm skipping over this 8, and I'm going to go through the next 2 11s right here. And again, we have to do the same thing we did earlier and make that 8 pop out. So in order to do that, I come in here, I put my needle in the 8, and I wiggle it, and I pull this tail and it goes underneath the 8, just like that. So again, I'm going to pick up another 11, an 8, and 11, coming out here, skipping over 2 seed beads, 2 11s, skipping over the 8, 2 11s. I'm going to pass through these 2 here. Just like this. Pull through. Okay. Skipping over this 8, I'm going to pass through 2 11s like that. And again, this is the last 8-0, so we have to make that bead stand out. By passing our needle through it. And pulling our working tail there. Okay, and then I have 3 more beads to pick up. 1 11, 1 8, and 1 11. Coming out here, I'm going to skip over these 5 beads. I need to pull this tight because I see that it's getting loose. Back here I saw the thread. Okay, I pulled it tight. Now I'm going to pass through these 2 11s right here. So again, I'm skipping over 5 beads. Okay, looks good. Now I have to go down through these 11s, and I'm just going to get back into this 8 where I started. So I'm going to pass through these 4 11s right here. Just wiggle my way through, just like that. And I think I need pliers. There it goes. Okay. So again, you don't want your thread to sit on top. Mine went below finally that time. And then I'm going to go through this 8. Okay. And now pull this tight again. So we are in position. So we can later on, we go to add the 10mm bead. It will sit on top just like that. You can see how well it sits. So now I'm going to take my needle off of this thread. I'm going to put it back onto this thread over here, and we're going to go back to work on the rest of the necklace. So I will tie knots later when I do all of the beading. I'll come back and tie knots here. Okay, so the seed beads we picked up last time was 6 11s, an 8, and 6 11s. And since this is our biggest bead, it's going to be the middle bead of the necklace. We're not going to decrease the seed beads now. We're actually going to pick up the same amount again. And then after we do the same amount again all the way around, then we pick up the 8mm beads, and then we decrease the seed beads. Okay. So we did 6, 8, and 6. So again, we are going to do 6. And then 8. And then 6. Double check, make sure you have the right amount. Slide them all down. Coming out of this 8, I'm going to go in through the next. And I want to make sure this is tight, so pull this tight, and you want to flip these seed beads up. Okay, again I'm going to pick up 6 11s, an 8, and 6 11s. There's 5, 6, there's my 8, 3, 4, 5, 6. Coming out of here, I'm going to go into this 8. And then pull this up and pull the thread tight. Okay, and again we're going to do this one more time around. 6 11s, 8, and 6 11s. Five, 6, there's my 8, 4, 5, and 6. Alright, slide those down. Coming out of this 8, skipping over this bead, I'm going to go through this 8OC bead. Okay, lift that up, pull it tight. And we also need to step up now. I'm coming out here. I'm going to go through all of these 6 11s there and to that 8 if I can. Let's see. Okay. Just like that. Passing through all of those. So now we're going to be decreasing. Pull that tight. So now I do the 8mm rounds. So I'm picking up an 8, going through the next 8OC bead, and then picking up an 8 into the next 8O. Picking up another 8 and through the next 8 where we started. And then pull it tight. Okay, there we go. It's looking good. So now we're going to be decreasing the seed bead count. So we had 6 here. Okay, we had 6 going around the 8mm beads. If you look all the way around, there's 6 11s and 8, 6 11s, 6 11s. You can see going around. Okay. And now we just did the 8s here. So if you look back here, you could see what we have to do next. Now we have to do 5 11s and 8 and 5 11s all the way around these 8mm beads. So here we go. 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 8O and 5 11s. Slide that down. You want to keep this tight as you work. And I'm going to go through the next 8O. Pull this through. Before I go all the way through, I come back, I pull that, and then I pull that there. Okay, and you want to fold these up. Do not let them fold down because we are decreasing now. So it's important to keep it like that. So again, we're going to do this all the way around. 5 11s, an 8 and 5 11s. Four and 5. Coming out of here, going into the next bead. Okay. One more time. 5/11s, 8 and 5/11s. Coming out of this bead, I'm going through this 8, and I have to step up, so I'm going to go through all of these 11s, and I'm also going to go through this 8 if I can. Okay, there we go. So passing through all of these beads, fold the sides up and then pull it tight. So we just decreased our seed beads. We went from 6 to 5, and now we're going to decrease the round. So we have 10 here, this is 8. Now we're going to be doing the 6mm rounds. So from this bead, I pick up my 6mm, going to the next one, the next 8 over there, picking up the next 6mm from here to this one, pulling that tight. I have one more 6mm to add right here. Okay, so now I have to do the seed beads because I just did the rounds, and that means seed beads, and we're going to be decreasing again. So if you look back, we have the 6 seed beads here, 6 there. Okay, we just did the 8mm, so looking over here, you can see that we did the 5 there, so you can look back at what we already did. There's the 5. So there's the 6mm looking back, so I could see the next thing we have to do is 3 seed beads, an 8 and 3 seed beads. Pulling this tight, I'm going to pick my seed beads up. 3 8, 3 11s, an 8/0, and then 3 11s. Okay, coming out of here, I'm going to go into the next 8/0. Pull that tight. So there's one time. We have to do that 2 more times. 1 2 3, pick up an 8, 1 2 3, from this bead to this one, fold those up and pull it tight, and one more time we're going to pick up 3 11s, an 8 and 3 11s. From here, through this 8, pass through these 3 11s and through the next 8, we're stepping up, pull the thread through, pull it tight. Okay, it's looking good. It's really pretty. So now I have to do the 4mm. So I'm picking up a 4 from here to here, popping that bead in there. We're going to do another 4. And then another 4. through the next 8-0. Pull it tight. Okay, and there we go. So we've completed one section. So we're going to have to pick up seed beads again because we just finished off with rounds, but we're not going to be increasing or decreasing this time. We're actually going to pick up the same beads because if you remember back when we did the 10mm bead, right here's the 10mm, we have 6 here, 6 there, 6 there, 6 there, all the way around this bead because this was our biggest bead. Okay, so now we're going to do the smallest bead. So we're going to be putting 3 11s, an 8, and 3 11s, and it's going to be like that all the way around these 4mm. I hope this makes sense to you. So because this is our smallest bead, that's why we're doing it that way. Okay, and I should probably just pour these out now. Let's see. So 3 11s, an 8, and 3 11s. I'm right here, so I'm going to pass through this one. I'm going through this 8, passing up through the next 3 11s, and I have to go through that 8-0 there, so like that. Okay, so now we are going to increase. Pulling this tight, lifting these points up on our triangle. So now we increase to the 6mm. So I pick up my 6mm, pass through the next 8, and I think I'm going to stop and pull it tight. Okay, and then through the next 8. Okay, so this is what we have. So now we're going to increase on the seed bead side. So looking back at what we have to do next, we will be going into an 8. So that means I have to do 5 seed beads, an 8 and 5 seed beads. Okay, so I'm going to do that now. Got all my beads picked up. I'm going to go into this 8. And then I'm going to go through this 8, pass through all 5 11s, and through the next 8. Pull this tight, and now we're increasing the round bead, which is the 8mm. Okay, so then you go through the 8-0 seed beads. This 8-0, pull the thread through, pull this tight. Okay, just like that. So now we are increasing our seed bead counts. So we went from 3 to 5, and now we are going to do 6. 6 11s, an 8, and 6 11s. Alright, through this 8, and then step up by passing through all of these 11s, and also through that 8 there. Pass the thread through. Stand all of these up and pull it tight. Okay, so we did 4, 6, 8. Now we're increasing our round bead to the 10 millimeter. Through this 8 here. Okay, so again, we just added the biggest bead. So we are not going to decrease. We are going to do the same amount of beads. So we did 6, that means we're going to do that again. And I'm probably going to speed the videos up, so because we're getting further along here. So 6 11s, and 8, and 6 11s. Pull this tight. I'm going through this 8 and I have to step up through all of these 11s and through this 8 here. Fold all of the seed beads up on the top, just like this. Make sure everything is tight all the way around. And now we are going to decrease with the 8 millimeters. Here's the third one. Okay, there's 3. So now we have to decrease the seed bead sizes again. So again, look back at what you've already done. So we have 6, 6. Okay. Looking back, I could see now it's going to be 5. 5 11s, and 8, and 5 11s. Okay, passing through all these beads, stepping up like this. Before I go through there all the way, I'm going to pull this tight and then pull that through, lift that up, pull everything tight. Now we are decreasing with the 6 millimeter because we have the 8s here, so picking up a 6, and I'll be going through each of these 8s. Okay, now we have 6 millimeters. Okay, now I have to do seed beads, and we're going to be decreasing seed beads. So there's 6 here, 5 here, now we're going to do 3. 3 11s, and 8, and 3 11s. Stepping up. Pull this tight. So now we are decreasing to a 4 millimeter round. Picking up another 4 millimeter. And through the last 8 over there. Okay, so I have 2 sections done, and looking right here, We just did the 4 millimeters. This is the smallest bead, and just like earlier, we are not going to decrease because we're at the smallest bead. We have to do the same amount of beads. So make sure everything's tight, and then you will pick up 3/11s and 8 3/11s. And then pass through this 8. And you will do this 2 more times around, and you'll just keep going, having to increase and then decrease, and you'll just keep going until you have another section completed, and I'll show you what to do after that. So just keep going, beading away. So as you can see, I did my 3rd section here, and it looks great, and now I have to do this part here again. So I'm going to just let you guys rewind the video and watch how I did that again, and then I'm going to do mine, and I'll show you what to do after that. So go ahead and make this part over here. Okay, so I did my little beaded cup at the other end, so now I have it at both ends, and I actually took the needle off of this side and I went back to where I started at. So this was my first tail, 16-inch tail, okay? And I'm going to tie knots here. Now, I was looking through here, and I can tell that I've already passed through this row of 4 millimeters and 8/0s twice. So I'm right here at the 8/0s, 8/0 seed bead, and I'm just going to pass down through these 3 here, and I'm going to tie knots in this row. Okay, so now I'm going to lift these beads up right here, go underneath, make a loop, and pass through it twice. Now on this side over here, I think I only went through those 4 millimeter beads and the 8/0 C beads one time. So when I go to put my needle back onto this thread, I will have to go back through it there a second time, and then come out the 8/0 and do what I'm doing on this side to this side. Okay, so I just tied a knot, and then I'm gonna pass through this 8/0 C bead. Okay. And then I'm going to catch this thread that's going through the 6 millimeter bead. Okay, I just caught that there. Then I'm going to tie another knot. Pull that down. So then I'm going to pass through the 6 millimeter, pull the knot inside of that. I'll go through this 8. And I'll grab this thread here again, just like that. I hope you saw I did that. So I put my needle down through here, okay? Going down through here. Come up just like that. I caught that thread. Tie another knot. So you really do want to reinforce this because it is gemstones. And they're drilled, so I'm going to go all the way around here, tying knots. Okay, I will step down. I'm probably going to, let's see, where did I start at? I think I started over there. So I'm probably going to tie, pass through this 8/0, tie another knot, go through the 6 millimeter. I'll come out this 8/0, I'll shoot down through these seed beads, and then I'll be in this row, and I'll tie knots in the 8 millimeters, okay? I'll go around there, and then I'll come down through some 11/0s, and then I'll tie knots in these, okay, going around, and then I'll go down the 11s again. So I just work my way, reinforcing the rows, going back through here, and I think on the other one, I think I got to about here, and I ran out of thread. And after you get done with this side, you're going to go and do the same exact thing to this side. Remember I said that I believe I only passed through the 4 millimeters one time, so I will pass through them a second time, and I will tie knots and go back through here, reinforcing this, using up all of my thread to make this stronger. And once I get done doing this, I'm going to come back and show you how I did the necklace. It's very simple. I'm back, and this is what it looks like. I finished tying all my knots. It's really pretty. I love these picture jasper beads. So I went ahead and I put my 4, 6, 8, 10 millimeter beads onto my wire. I'm working right off the spool. I really do wish this was 18 gauge, but I don't have that, so I'm just using this. And I'm going to feed the wire right there through that hole. I do think that a leather cord would also work for this, but the thing is I really wanted to put these beads on the sides here, and their holes aren't big enough for leather. But if you wanted, you could leave these off. You could also have left this little beaded cup thing that I made off, and it would be just like that on a leather cord, but I decided to do it this way. So I'm going to put this onto my wire. Alright, and then I'm going to put my 10 millimeter bead on, and my 8, and then my 6, and my 4. Okay, slide all my beads down, and here's what we have. It's really pretty. I like it. So you can see why I have those little beaded cups, is what I call it, for that bead to sit in. It just makes it look so much better. Okay, so I have my pliers out, and I'm going to do a wrapped loop here at the end. Let's see, I'll do it right here. Okay. This wire is a lot softer compared to that stainless steel wire. Holy cow, that stuff is hard to bend, but man is it good stuff. It's a really durable wire. Okay. And my loop started out kind of screwy, so I'm gonna have to come in here and fix that. So I'm just making a wrapped loop, and I totally lost my wire cutters. How could I have done that? So I'll have to go find them. Okay, I found the cutters. So I'm just gonna come in here and cut that wire off. Bend that in there. Okay. Now I'm going to slide all of my beads down. Let's see, where should I cut this at? Maybe here. Okay, so like I said, you want to get a round shape. Kind of like a U shape, like this. Looks good. And then I'm going to finish my wrap loop. And like I said, you want to keep this in the round shape when you make the loop, because if you don't, it's going to be really stiff when you go to wear it, and you'll have to redo this part here. Okay. Okay, I gotta stop and see what it looks like. Okay, so I'm just gonna straighten this up here. And there we go. Now I have to go find a chain that matches it, and jump rings and all that. So that's pretty much how you do it. It's pretty simple, and man is it pretty. It's so pretty. I love it so much. This is it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like this video, leave me a comment, subscribe if you want to see more of my videos, and make sure you click the bell button so you get notified whenever I upload new videos, and like me on Facebook. And don't forget to share pictures of the jewelry you've made from my videos on my Facebook page, and follow me on Pinterest. Thanks for watching.